Hey, what is going on, guys? Maldiva here, and today, as you can see, since we got a whole different environment, we're not in the house with the computer, I'm gonna try and attempt something different and unique, and probably that no one's ever done before, which is I'm gonna talk, we're gonna chat, give out some Warlock PvP tips, all that, maybe even some just general PvP tips while driving. And not only driving, we're going to be using the really cool Tesla self-driving Autopilot. So I've been wanting to make car videos and stuff and try to find a way to blend them in for a while, and thanks to Twitter, they gave me this great idea that I should just drive, chat about anything, and let the car drive itself. So here we are, we're on the highway, and this is New York. As you can see, rush hour. If you guys can check the map, all those colors, the red is the traffic around me. So we're gonna kick this thing onto Autopilot. We're just gonna let it self-drive itself. I still have to pay attention and also keep a hand on the wheel, touch it every now and then, but yeah. So hopefully the audio is also good, but anyways, getting into it. So we're just gonna be doing like a basic Warlock PvP, some slight tips. Hopefully it'll be helpful for you guys. So starting off, the thing I want to emphasize about Warlocks and PvP, and your job in Arena is, it's funny to say this, but your job is to be as annoying and disruptive as possible. So you want to be annoying the enemy with fears, coils, drop the Shadow Fury, just spamming as much damage as possible, just super disruptive, always peeling for your teammates. And your whole objective, I mean, this is my goal. I love to do it. You guys know me, I love to do damage, is to just do as much damage as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to give some tips on how to do that effectively, because there are ways that you can do that like inefficiently and wrong. And the first up we're going to go is starting with diminishing returns. So with your diminishing returns, when you're fearing someone, you want to pick a target, and your goal, okay, this guy is gonna, yeah, good job, buddy. The guy didn't know it was the next lane. All right, that's the perks of doing this in a real world setting. I just wanted to take over because I didn't trust him. He was trying to cut in over the lines, but whatever. Okay, he interrupted me. What was I saying? DRs. So the way that you properly want to efficiently use your fear diminishing returns is you pick a guy, you start off with one player, and you want to take him out of the game. So you pick that guy, let's say it's the DPS, the melee DPS that's on you. You can fear him 3 times before he's immune. So you want to fear him, and then as that fear is ending, or let's say there's damage, maybe you have a dot on him or something, you want to fear him again to chain it up, to not give him any global cooldowns in between. But while you're doing that, you do not want to be fearing someone else and building the DR on someone else. So while you have that diminishing return, you want to keep it on one guy, you can triple fear him, and then you move on to fearing the next guy. Don't fear Arena 1, then fear Arena 2, then fear Arena 1, because that's an inefficient way to use your global cooldowns. So it's a big, major thing, and a mistake that a lot of people make. I mean, shoot, I even make that mistake a lot of the time. Sometimes. But I try to stop myself from doing that. So yeah, very, very important. And now let's talk about, let's say, going for a kill, since we're on the topic of diminishing returns. This is going to be kind of basic, but as you guys know, if you're trying to go for a kill, it's very important to get crowd control. And also, when you're going for crowd control, you do not want to leave gaps, because a lot of people have cooldowns that will save them, and they only need 1 GCD to press it. So very important that you chain up your CC and all that. And now of course it starts raining. I mean, that's no problem, the car will be fine, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Hopefully you guys can hear me through the road noise and the rain and all that. But yeah, so you want to chain your fears, your coils, your stuns, and not give the enemy a single global cooldown when you're going for the kill. And that's either attacking the person or attacking the other person and using the crowd control and the healer to not let him heal his teammate. So very important in that situation as well. And now I want to try something. So we have have a little whiteboard on the car, the sketch pad. I want to test this out so we can kind of draw and talk about positioning. Because positioning is pretty, I mean, it's important for everybody, but Destro Lock, you really don't want to mess this up because this is your most important tool that you have. If you position incorrectly as a Destro Lock, the game is just going to be 10 times harder. You're going to position well, help the enemy, just hurt yourself. Your positioning, you want to alter it depending on how many offensive cooldowns you have, how many defensive cooldowns you have. It's kind of like a game of chess. You need to play it and really analyze the situation and see, okay, how many defensives and offensives does the enemy have? How many defensives and offensive do I have and my team have? So we know, okay, you know what? Feeling pretty safe. We have enough cooldowns. We can just run in and be on their pillar, and it's no problem. We should be safe. But if you're down cooldowns, you obviously don't want to be on their pillar being aggressive because they're just going to push in, step. They only have to make a few steps through you, past you, right to your healer, CC your healer, and then you're dead. Or even swap your healer. So you really got to watch out for that. And let me see. I'm just going to get out of the passing lane because I don't want to be in anybody's way while we do this. But yeah, so we can use the sketch pad as an example, and I'll talk about positioning on Nagrand, for instance. So we'll have a circle there, a circle there. Let's call that Nagrand Arena. These are the pillars. Okay, I didn't complete the circle. It's kind of hard with the car shaking around. Let's change it to red. Okay, so the red is going to be the player. Typically, when I'm in Nagrand, I want to try to force the enemy to play out here. So I'm positioned there. I want to be as far out in the open, away from these pillars, because these are bad. These pillars, you don't want the enemy to have those and use them to their advantage, because they're not really your friend. If you're fighting, well, they can be your friend if you're fighting casters, but with melee, you don't really need to LOS melee. Melee need to LOS you, so you don't want to be playing over there, unless you have to. But, so, boom, that's where you want to be. But let's say, hey, the enemy team is just playing a scared, they're running to the pillar, they're hiding over here. What do we do? So if you're in a 3v3 situation, you want to have one of your guys, let's say right about here, boom, right there, and then your other partner is going to be on the other side of the pillar, positioned like that. And you want to do a triangle formation. So let's do blue, triangle. You can have your healer stand somewhere there. So your healer has perfect line of Arena 1, or let's say Party 1, and then perfect line of Party 2. And the reason you do this is because the enemy is right there, that's the red. You want to have perfect line to at least have one of your partners, one of you guys, able to hit the person behind this pillar. Because if you're, let's say you're both on this side, in between these two pillars, all this team is going to do is they're going to play right on that side. They're going to line of sight, and you're not going to get any damage off because you're both right here. So always what I'm doing is okay, the car acting a little weird. I got to hit the accelerator right here. It's being a little weird with the lane lines and stuff. Okay, I think we're good. So yeah, people are going to drive all crazy with the rush hour and the rain. But, so what I'm doing is I'm always communicating with my partner and be like, hey, all right, I'm going to go left and you go right. Because you stand there and you don't allow them to have line of sight. You don't want them to LOS you and not be able to attack them at all. So when you're like this, let's say, okay, they're on this side, my guy over here is going to have line of sight of them and be able to attack them. This guy right here, he's probably not going to have line, but as long as you have one guy attacking, that's fine. So you just have him trying to scare them, pressure them into coming in the line of sight of this guy, and you can push in a little bit, let's say over here, but you don't want to go too far, because what always ends up happening when I push up and go too far is I go up here, let's say it's Rogue Mage. I push up there, maybe to right around here, because that's where I'll have to attack them, because they're being over here trying to attack my guy and line of sight me. I'm going to go right there. I'm going to get sheeped. Let's say my healer dispels the one sheep. Then they're going to sheep me again. I'm caught out right over here, really far out of position. And then they're just going to run in, and then boom. Look who's exposed. My healer is exposed. So you want to kind of create a barrier to where they can't cross and get to your healer. you want to protect your healer. I guess you can kind of relate it to sports and all that. He's, let's say, the goalie, I guess, and they're over there trying to score a goal. You need to protect him and not let anybody get through. I mean, they'll get through eventually, but you need to make it hard. Make it a struggle. It should not be, oh, boom, guy gets sheeped over here, and then they just run in and attack your healer or go over there and crowd control them. So the harder it is for them to get to your healer, the better. And the more time that your healer spends at a CC, the greater your chances of winning the game are. As long as you can buy drinks and stuff, because he'll probably run out of mana and all that. So that's kind of like the basic gist of how we position. And it's going to vary depending on map to map. That's just in a grand, it's really easy to do. So we're just going to swap over to here because I don't want to be in the exit lane or near the exit lane. But yeah, that's the general way that we kind of position on the grand, and then you alter a little bit based on the pillars and the other maps, how the team is playing, etc., etc. So I want to talk again about how do we position if we have defensive cooldowns and if we don't have any at all. So we'll add the pillars back. Boom, there's the pillars, and then we'll have, let's just put our one player right here. So let's say that's us as a warlock. These pillars, it's okay, let's say specifically 2v2, you don't really want to give the team too much breathing room. What I've noticed is if I sit back for no reason and I don't attack, I let dampening build up, and then dampening can hurt you in the end because we're pretty tanky. We have a good amount of self-healing with our soul leech and stuff. You want to take advantage of that and not just waste it. So you want to be in the action as much as possible when you have your cooldowns, when you're feeling safe. So it's okay in twos. I literally just straight up run in. This is for like a 2v2 situation because you're not going to be able to effectively do the triangle strat because there's only 2 players and your healer's not going to do as much damage as a second DPS. So I have defensive cooldowns. I like to judge it based on wall. Wall is my big safety cooldown. If I have wall, I am always going in. I am chasing whatever melee that's going on the pillar and keeping the pressure on him. But if he forces my wall, let's say they blind my healer, it's a rogue, and he sits the blind and then I'm forced to wall, I'm afraid because I can get caught out. They could smoke bomb me back there and I'm dead. So what I do is now we use that me having no wall as a bait to be able to stand here. And the melee, typically they don't want to play out there. They want to be by the pillar because they know, oh, Deshlock, he's scary. If he Infernals, he Dark Souls, he has the potential to one-shot me or almost one-shot me. Now, they have a little bit more incentive to attack you over there because you're down a wall. So that's kind of the push and pull game depending on what offensive cooldowns I have, what defensive cooldowns I have, and also with the enemy. It's like I guess it's a little mind game. You don't want to be the guy that's playing over here when you have no wall, no hellstone, your healer has no trinket. That's not exactly the place you want to play. You want to play out here, at least keep them in combat. Don't let the rogue get a re-stealth. I made that mistake. It's not pretty. Rogue gets a re-stealth, saps your healer, gets a clean opener on you, and they get the free CC chain. That's what you want to look out for. The biggest, most important thing when you're doing that. So now we'll clear this again, and I think we can go without. We'll exit this. We'll go without the sketch pad for now. I want to talk about juking because I know that's it's pretty tough. There's a lot of interrupts out there. Deshlock, we got to get those chaos bolts off. So juking is very important. And I have a couple of juking patterns, little techniques that I like to use. So we have multiple schools. Depending on what you get kicked on, you can get locked out of all your spells or only a few of your spells. So the school that we really want to get locked on, like really want to get locked on, is fire. Obviously fire, if we get kicked on it, immolate, incinerate, we're still able to bolt, we're still able to fear. That's going to be like the win-win situation. It doesn't always happen. Obviously people know, oh yeah, don't kick the Deshlock on fire because he's going to be able to do everything. And so the spells that I like to juke, because people aren't going to really kick immolate and fear. I mean immolate and incinerate consistently, so you can't really bank on that. What I love to juke with is fear. Fear is one of the best tools that we have to juke with because depending on the situation, it can be bad. If you get kicked on fear, it can actually be bad and kill you because you're not able to wall, you're not able to coil. You need to watch out. I mean, it's happened to me, it's happened to all of us. Depending on the situation, you get kicked on fear, you're screwed if you're low and you need a wall. So you got to watch out for that. But typically, if you're high health, nothing really crazy is going on, then you can just cast fear, use it to juke. It's either, okay, he kicks fear, then I can just chaos bolt, or he doesn't kick fear, he gets feared away, and then I use that to bolt. And then you can also use your conflag route. So you fear him a little bit away, you root him, he's out of melee range, so he can't kick you, unless it's a DK or DH, something like that with a range kick. Then you can cast the bolt. And then also, the other spells that I love to juke with are Cataclysm. Some people feel like they wanna kick Cataclysm. That's a really good one. And also Shadow Fury, because I mean, hey, they kick you on Shadow Fury, it's the same thing like Fear. You're able to cast the bolt. If they don't kick it, you get the stun, and then you get the bolt. So it's kind of like a win-win situation, just depending on, all right, is this going to be a bad if I get kicked on my Shadow Fury or not on Shadow. Now the big no-no spell that you don't want to get kicked on is Chaos Bolt. We all know you get kicked on Chaos Bolt, that's going to be the end game. So you really want to try to prevent getting kicked on that spell. And I think that really sums it up for this video. I think I'm pretty happy with all the information that we went over. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I left out. It's kind of, I just wanted to make it like a basic kind of fun guide, and also test out being in the real world, showing off the really cool Tesla Autopilot system, because a lot of people just have no idea what this car is capable of, or just really love watching car videos, seeing how the system reacts and does out in the environment, because I really didn't have to do much. I mean, the one guy cut me off. I was a little afraid because he was getting a little close. And then other than that, it's been pretty well. And this is rush hour traffic. It takes like the stress of driving in these terrible high vehicle situations, because this is no fun. Nobody enjoys driving in traffic, but with the autopilot system, it takes that all away, and I don't even really mind it. Because I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what it was like, if you found it enjoyable and also helpful, because I'll try to do more of these. It was fun to make, and we have tons of ideas, so I could literally talk about anything, go Q&A, answer people's questions while we just chill and drive around. So yeah, just let me know, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.